Court hears opposition suspension case. Education Ministry to tackle illiteracy. Government wants GDF to make a profit. And this week's history subject. I am Noriko Bulford, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. This morning, the High Court started to hear the case filed by the 8 suspended opposition members of Parliament against the Attorney General and the Speaker of the House over their suspension from Parliament. The MPs are contending that the suspension should have been thrown out as questions about its fairness, legality, and due process have arisen. They also sought an interim preventing the suspension and the sanctions against the 8 members of Parliament. That interim order was not granted. However, the case will be called again on the 10th of August. 24-year-old Dave Singh was today arraigned for the murder of 53-year-old businessman Vikram Sibaran. He was accused of unlawfully killing Sibaran between July 31st and August 1st, 2022 at Sibaran's home in Kanji Babis. Singh was released on $750,000 bail and was ordered to return to court on September 13th. Today, a 1-megawatt solar farm was commissioned in Lettam. Junior Public Works Minister Deodat Indar said that the commissioning of the solar farm will reduce the need for about 3,000 of the 12,000 barrels of diesel annually by the power company in Lettam. In addition to the Lettam solar power plant, Minister Indar said hydropower plants totaling 2.23 megawatts are under construction at Mokomaka and Kumu, Region 9, as well as Kato in Region 8. Months after the launch of a major black-belly sheep project in West Coast Babis, the first batch have arrived in Guyana from Barbados. 112 ewes and 20 rams were among the first of 1,000 sheep expected to arrive here under the initiative between the two governments, which aims at reducing the CARICOM region's mutton import bill. The remainder of the sheep will be transported to Guyana within the coming months. I really didn't even know that sheep was a big thing in this region. Oh well. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's Car of the Week. Currently on sale is this 2016 Suzuki Jimmy Sierra 4-wheel drive. It comes with regular and low-range 4-wheel drive, Bluetooth, mug rims, new tires, TV, CD, stereo, fog lamps, back camera, and much, much more. Buy cash for $3.4 million, or pay as low as $700,000 down with around $67,000 monthly for 5 years, and it is yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit the showrooms at Lot 171 Peterborough Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, and tell them Noriko sent you for this sweet deal. There is a literacy crisis in this nation. Many children in Guyana cannot read, and according to Minister Manachan, a number of students during the most recent NGSA exam actually left the English section completely blank, and some actually left the whole test blank. This shocking revelation has prompted the Education Ministry to assign an Assistant Chief Education Officer to focus solely on literacy to ensure that by the age of 8, every child is literate in Guyana. I cannot tell you just how happy I am to hear of this. Contrary to what the developers of the Vredenhoop shore base have asserted, fishermen on Tuesday and Wednesday told Starbreak News that their fish pens have been fouled by mud and refuse brought up through dredging off of the mouth of the Demerara River. Dozens of fishermen are reported to have been affected, and some claim to have already contacted the Fisheries Department, who are currently negotiating compensation for some persons. However, there is no word as to what implications their complaints may have on future dredging projects in the area, but with our current EPA, I wouldn't expect any changes at all. The government is currently looking at the feasibility of establishing a military-operated commercial arm of the GDF Air Corps, and if so, how to structure it. It is considering whether this arm should be only for emergency rescue missions, national support, or the movement of goods and services. Either way, the president has made it known that the government cannot keep pumping money into the military and it not make them a profit. Weird concept, but okay. Anyway, he said they are considering ventures such as VIP movements and renting out vehicles to the oil and gas sector. Wow, that surely can't have any unintended consequences at all. So, you need parts for your truck and looked your eyeballs out and can't find it? Did you check Powered Automotive? Get high-quality DAF, International, Freightliner, Bedford TM, or Scammell truck parts at the lowest prices at Powered Automotive. Visit them at Lot 1161 EE Eccles, or call them on telephone number 697-0171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive. the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. An agriculture survey funded by the IDB will see the collection of data from approximately 4,000 farmers residing in regions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10. Some US $1 million was allocated to conduct the survey under the SADP, which aims to increase the productivity of the agriculture sector while maintaining sustainable and climate-resistant use of natural resources in Guyana. While the training for the 100 enumerators is currently underway, the survey itself is expected to begin before the end of the month. Now for today's oil update. Dutch shipbuilder SBM Offshore said yesterday that it earned a net profit of US $103 million for the first half of 2022, almost double of the corresponding period last year when the company made only US $61 million in profit. Of particular interest to the company is the fact that its order book has increased to a new record level of US $31.1 billion. The company said its recent growth in this regard is backed by the contractual arrangement in place for future FPSOs in Guyana. SPM said it expects to deliver around US $9 billion net cash flow from its lease and operate programs for the remainder of the year. Now for this week's Guyana history topic. Seeing as the St. George's School burnt down recently, I thought it would be a good time to give you a short history of the church that founded the school, St. George's Anglican Cathedral. Contrary to popular belief, St. George's Cathedral is not the tallest wooden structure in the world, nor is it even the tallest wooden cathedral in the world. In fact, at 143 feet, it was once the largest wooden church in the Western Hemisphere when it was completed in 1899. However, the current holder of the title is the St. Peter and Paul's Catholic Cathedral in Paramaribo, Suriname. St. George's was designed by Sir Arthur W. Bloomfield in a Gothic style with Elizabethan architectural elements placed about. Originally, he wanted to build the structure out of stone, but was denied by the colonial authorities as stone was far too expensive and difficult to obtain at the time. Instead, they allowed him to make the base out of stone and the structure out of wood. Nevertheless, the church stood proudly in its location while the city grew around it. While it may have lost some of its original religious prominence in the colony, the church is still used for many important national ceremonies in current Guyana, as well as religious services for the local Anglican community in Guyana. It might not be robbery season, but the streets are still mean. That's why you need to get security for your home and business through Sheriff Security Service. Sheriff Security offers well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, marine patrol, canine services. These people even got drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest, now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today. Now for our Uncut News Viewers Poll Question of the Day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. Yesterday, I asked about the CEO of Gaisuko, Sasnarayan Singh. Do you think he should stay, or should he go after all that you've heard so far? Navin Singh says, they're opening up Gaisuko and still we have a shortage in sugar. He needs to go. Roger Wilson says, the CEO should go. He's an economics person, not an agricultural person. He knows nothing about sugar and the production. In addition, he has no respect for workers and our union. He behaves like it's the Wild Wild West, pretending that he's God. How can an economist head an agriculture sector? We need an agriculturist to run it. Indeed, Roger. It's a set of square pegs in round holes. And finally, Tootie Dihan says, I don't know either one of these men, but what I know is that anyone that has anything to do with managing the affairs of Gaisuko for the past 10 years should be in jail and held accountable. My fellow Guyanese, stand for something or fall like crabs in a barrel. So, before we get to tonight's question, you can multiply your cash by selling Digicel Top-Up. This is a legit way you can earn some extra money at your business or to supplement your current hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy by linking with Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. Now for tonight's question. What would you like for us to cover in a future Guyana history segment? I want you to think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out on Monday for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying, have a great weekend. And as always, don't drink and drive, or you'll end up on Monday's episode the hard way. Ha-ha! Good night, folks.